Okay, so I'm going to play something first, and then this really only does play for 2 minutes, and then I'll say a little bit more afterwards, because as you can see, I took on board several of Russ's ideas, the keeping it simple, the doing it myself, and also the failing early and often, as you'll see halfway through this example. The other thing to point out was do it just in time. I don't know if you can see, but at the bottom here, this was recorded at 1:58 and 15 seconds this afternoon, which probably explains a little bit of the lack of polish here now.
You look like a movie star.
Thank you. There's a lot of signal processing in here. Let's see how we go. Hello and welcome to Monash Lightboard. I'm Lincoln Turner. When I talk to students after a lecture or one-on-one, I go to a whiteboard, get a pen, and write something. It's a very engaging, dynamic way of teaching, in which I can make eye contact and talk with my hands. This is difficult to do with video unless you have a lightboard. I'm able to write equations. For example, if I'm teaching to thermal physics, to first-year students, we can draw diagrams, and I'm actually drawing here, so there's no latency to get in the way. I can introduce content from a PowerPoint slide, for example. So I can bring in an animation like this and explain to students that here we have a liquid in thermal equilibrium with a gas. I can draw some area on the side of this box here, pick out trajectories of particles, talk about their momenta, and compute quantities like pressure. I can also introduce live Mathematica, coding, and other live interaction over the top. For example, I can type or not. And we'll leave it there before I say some sort of rude words. But in a minute, I'd like to invite anyone who wants to come upstairs and see this live. We'll go up and see if we can repair the bug. That I may not be able to, because I've been relying hugely here on the assistance and expertise of Josh Morris, who's a very talented science engineering double degree student who has actually been doing all the plugging together of the video hardware up there. Without his amazing engineering skills, I may not be able to actually fix it live, but we can at least go up and see the lightboard and things like this. Pretty clearly this was done in one take. Okay, so and it was indeed done at 2 minutes to this seminar. The idea with the lightboard, and what we've been able to realise, is that you literally can walk into the studio, you hit a record button, it then counts down by 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you start talking, writing on the board, and so on. When you've finished, there's a foot switch you hit to stop the recording. It makes a satisfying clunk, actually, which is going to be on the end of every recording until we find out a way of stopping that. But the point is that at that point, you're done. You can walk back to your office and go on S Drive, and it's there in an MP4 file, which is what you drag onto YouTube. This means that there is no post-production required. If you want to, so I did no post-production there, and pretty obviously, and the only pre-production I did was I made a PowerPoint slide that was just a normal PowerPoint slide with that animation on it on a black background in the right aspect ratio. That was it, and that was actually on my laptop. So you can do that and go and get the file on the computer up there, or you can carry your laptop in, plug your laptop in. We have a box which acts the same way as the things at the other end buried in the wall here. You just plug your laptop in, you don't have to worry about resolutions or any other things. It just ingests what your laptop spits out in the same way lecture theatres do. So that's the fun bit. You can, I could see what I was drawing on there. It's not on the glass that I'm drawing on, but I'm looking through the glass at a television, and I can see where I'm drawing. In version 2, we're going to try and actually put it on the glass, but you can see perfectly well what you're drawing. And if you really want to be precise, you actually go and draw in black texture, which you can't see, and then you've actually got alignment marks for where you want to draw. But usually you don't need to do that. So, look, this is the live coding does work, just not today. The idea here is to make a very low multiplier way of delivering video content. By the multiplier, I mean the time that you spend versus the divided by the number of minutes of video that you actually produce. Clearly, using this tool, you can't produce the extremely high production values things that Russ has shown you. On the other hand, you can produce a lot more in the same time. And it's really horses for courses. They're both useful things to be able to do.